Failure is inevitable for success. How do I fail so that I develop the right skills for future success? This and other topics in my weekly recap, episode number 11. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erkka Suvanto. Some of you call me EJ. I'm still the guy on social media who wants to build a legacy for my own kids and pass on all the life and business lessons to each and every one of you. I have built 3 companies up to 5 million level all by myself, and now talking about those learnings so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. In this week's video, I wanted to go over 2 topics. 1, the relationship between failure and success, and number 2, I wanted to go over some of the key lessons from my first full week of client meetings with my first 5 business coaching clients. But let's first talk about the relationship between failure and success. In my intro, I mentioned that failure is a prerequisite for success. It's inevitable. Why is it so? I personally believe that if we never try hard enough, if we always play the game in our comfort zone, we don't get to see how good we truly are. We don't see where the system breaks, where the weaknesses are. Business and life overall, to me, is like driving a car flat out. You go flat out as fast as you can, of course, obeying the traffic rules, until something breaks. Then you fix whatever broke down, and then you go flat out again until something else breaks. You fix that and you keep going. It's the same way how you build a business, because our business always grows until its first bottleneck. You fix the bottleneck and something else shows up as a weakness, and then you fix that. And that's how you go from 0 up to a sizable level. Knowing failure plays such a crucial role in our future success. It makes sense to go a little deeper into understanding failure and understanding how people fail in 2 different ways, according to human psychology and several studies. We either fail in an ego-oriented or mastery-oriented way. So failure. So 1, ego orientation, or number 2, mastery orientation. What's the difference between the 2? Ego-oriented people, humiliation and embarrassment are the 2 most important emotions that drive their behavior. Because to these people, failure is the same as embarrassment. They overcare what other people think. And that's the reason why you often hear words like, I like competition, I want to beat the competition, types of phrases from these people. Competition is also good for mastery-oriented people. They look at failure as a learning process. When these people fail, result is curiosity. Learning to them is fun. Of course, they hate failure too, but they can turn the whole outcome into a learning process. Get a little better every day and make better mistakes going forward. That's the biggest difference between people in group number 1 versus group number 2. So why is humiliation then such a negative driver when it comes to human behavior? To understand that, we need to go a little deeper into human psychology and human emotions. Humiliation ranks second only after grief when it comes to human toxic emotions. That's how powerful it is. No wonder why people can do the unthinkable. For instance, when a relationship ends. When the number 1 thing on that list, grief, happens, you lose the person, and then humiliation or embarrassment is the second. So then you start wondering what others thought about your divorce or something else that's bad happening in your life. That's why many people can do the unthinkable when they have to deal with those number 2, grief and humiliation, as far as the toxic emotions go. That's also the reason why, in my opinion, why many people live their whole lives underperforming relative to their whole potential. Why is it that I don't go after my entrepreneurial aspirations when I have that steady corporate job? It's a chicken and egg dilemma. I can never leave corporate because I don't have a steady income with my side hustle yet. And the side hustle can never grow if I keep putting all my hours towards my corporate career. So something has to give. That's the reason why people have a hard time going after their dreams, because fear, humiliation, and the ego orientation, number 1 here on this list, is driving our decision making and behavior. So then the $1 million question is this: How is it that we can shift our focus from ego orientation to mastery orientation? This is what we have to do. So to fix it. So from ego to mastery. The short answer is take embarrassment out of the picture. Take embarrassment out of the picture. Fall in love with the craft, not with the results. If I look at myself and the reason why I started in social media roughly 6 months ago, I'm not doing this for the likes. Of course, I have to be completely honest. Real talk here. Of course, I pay attention. I pay attention to the likes, and I pay attention to how my YouTube channel grows and what happens on Instagram or what happens on TikTok or Facebook. All of that matters to me. And that's also the reason why I didn't start or put my name or my face out there to begin with. So if I start with my why and understand that the reason why I was away from social media, wanted to hide my face, hide my name, was that I had insecurities. I wasn't good enough. So the end result was impacting my behavior way too much. Then I started to face my fears. I decided to get better at it, but I did it to learn how to deal with the criticism and face my fears and get better. But I fell in love with the craft. I was able to justify to myself why I need to do this. This is good for me, building a legacy for my kids. This is my diary. If I believe that I have something valuable to pass on to my kids, whether it's life or business lessons, I wanted to start documenting it. And then I also saw a business opportunity. I truly feel passionate about teaching, coaching, and talking about business and life stuff. And I felt that I have a lot of conviction that I can help most of the people on this planet, depending on the role. So that's why I started doing it. So fall in love with the craft, not the results. And the second fix here on this list is to start with your why. And what this basically means is that if you let the negative impact you, it probably also means that the positives are very addictive. So start with your why. Do it for the right reasons. Learn how to deal with that criticism and all the negativity so that the positivity is not that addictive to you anymore. Fall in love with the craft. And number 2, start with the why. So pluses and minuses have to be in balance. If we are overly addicted to the positives, then the negatives, which is the inevitable side effect of being on social media, for instance. You're subject to criticism on a daily basis. These have to be in balance. So we need to start with why. Why are we doing this? And fix our own issues first. Self-awareness is always number 1. Using the famous navigation example. If I don't know where I am today, if I don't have my GPS on, there's no way I can get my driving directions to my final destination. It's the same thing here. Why starts with self-awareness, going from ego to mastery orientation. It's not easy, and it's always going to be a working process, but we can do it. The second part of this video is about my client meetings this week. This marked the first full week of business meetings with all my coaching clients. And there are a couple of recurring themes that I thought would be very valuable to my audience to hear as well regarding these business owners and what type of dilemmas they are dealing with. So if we start with number 1, so all are small, and pretty much every single one is looking for growth. What about the dilemma they are facing? Also pretty identical. When you're small, most of your time, usually all of your time, goes towards managing the business, meaning running the day-to-day. There's a reason why we are small. We don't have employees, but people also don't know we exist. So what's our number 1 priority to fix that growth issue? Is to market and promote the business more. There are 4 ways how we can do it. Post social media content, run paid ads, contact strangers, and contact people we know. And pretty much every single company that I work with, and this applies to every company out there that is below $1 million a year, these business owners should be promoting and marketing their business more. I didn't do it back in the day when I started. I realized that pretty soon because otherwise I would have never been able to take off and grow my company up to 5 million a year. But now that I have done it, I can talk about it. The things we are doing with them is basically a two-step process regarding this. So step number one is say no and show me your calendar. We look at different time blocks. How is it that we can allocate more time? And in that case, that would be ideally 3 to 4 hours a day. But in many cases, that's not doable because most of the time, usually 8 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, goes towards picking up phone calls, talking to clients, and running the day-to-day. All those tiny little details that need to be taken care of. So finding that 3 to 4 hour slot every day is super hard. If you have employees, you can start delegating tasks. And this is something that we do with some of them. But if you're just a one-person company, then it's super hard. Then you need to start saying no to multiple tasks and let some fires burn. But the step number one, and usually the hardest part, and I have lived through this, I know what I'm talking about, saying no is very, very difficult for me personally. I can relate to these people. There's no other way but to clean up the calendar and reserve time slots for creative work and for manager work. And everybody is different, but usually a good rule of thumb is that first you need to find out what's the time of the day when you have the most creative mind, so to say. Some people it could be early in the morning before kids wake up, or late at night, or even perhaps during lunch hour. That's where we put the priority one task, which is to promote and market the business. That's always number one. Say no to other stuff. Let's clean up the calendar and then reserve those time slots for the creative work. And then we allocate everything else around that because we need to fix that growth problem. And the only way how we can fix that is by promoting more. And then number two is we create a simple process and checklist for marketing. What are the things that we do out of the four? And usually in the beginning, it's only one channel, one message, and one target customer. And then we start repeating that and increasing the volume. And then when we get success with that one method, then we ramp it up and take other channels as well. But we create a simple checklist that starts to show results when executed consistently. And the third topic I haven't covered with my clients yet, but which is going to be next on the radar, but I want to reveal it here, is to focus on the offer. Many who have not done enough marketing, the creative work, they have no clue how to put together a compelling offer either. And that's the third thing on the list. But this is not to say that my clients don't know what they're talking about. Quite the opposite. They are extremely smart, all of them. But the role of a coach is to hold these people accountable, is to remind them that these are the most important tasks that they need to be taken care of. And all the information is out there. That's not the question. Whether it's a personal training coach, a business coach, or life coach, the coach's number one responsibility is to hold the client accountable. We don't reinvent the wheel. We can only talk about what worked for us and offer alternatives to our clients. And then, as the going gets tough, which is always the case, then that's when we play a bigger role in supporting the client and holding that person accountable, saying, you can do it, let's stick to our plan, it's going to work, give it some time, it's all about consistency. So those are the things and those are the lessons from first full week of meetings with all of these people. So extremely motivated, grateful, happy to be in a position like this. No money coming in yet, but give until people ask. So goodwill compounds faster than money. That's my number one motto or slogan regarding this. So I'm going to provide value, and if I'm good enough, the money will come later. I'm not going to be worried about that. These were the two topics this week, pretty big topics, especially the failure part in the beginning. So remembering that from ego to mastery orientation, it's all about understanding why, falling in love with the process, not with the results, because we have to do it for the right reasons. And then second thing here, I guess a good thing and a good reminder for all small business owners is to make sure that we dedicate enough time towards promoting the business and marketing it. Otherwise, we will stay small forever. Thanks for watching. These were the topics this week, and I'll get back to you later. This week was from sunny Spain and traveling back home again in a few days. So we'll talk to you later from there. Thank you.